Thank you, friend, for joining me today. Let us read this testimony for the church number 13 by Ellen G. White, 1867. Let us continue to read her testimony. My Father in heaven, I pray that your people will come into an understanding of truth and that we will feel how our pioneers labored for your cause, O Father. Through your Son, Jesus Christ, I pray. 1867, testimony for the church, sketch of experience from December 19, 1866 to October 20, 1867. Remember, this is winter, going to spring, summer, and fall. Ellen G. White wrote, and I would like to read her account. Having become fully satisfied that my husband would not recover from his protracted sickness while remaining inactive, and that the time had fully come for me to go forth and bear my testimony to the people, I decided, contrary to the judgment and advice of the church at Battle Creek, of which we were members at that time, to venture a tour in northern Michigan. With my husband in his extremely feeble condition and in the severest cold of winter, it required no small degree of moral courage and faith in God, not Trinity, to bring my mind to the decision to risk so much, especially as I stood alone with the influence of the church, including those at the head of the work at Battle Creek against me. James White and Ellen G. White were both non-Trinitarians. Ellen G. White coming in from the Trinitarian Methodist Church, coming out, of the Trinitarian Methodist Church background when she was about 12 years old. Sister White continues, but I knew that I had a work to do, and it seemed to me that Satan was determined to keep me from it. I had waited long for our captivity to be turned and feared precious souls would be lost if I remained longer from the work. To remain longer from the field seemed to me worse than death, and to move out we could but perish. So on the 19th of December, 1866, we left Battle Creek in a snowstorm for Wright, Ottawa County, Michigan. My husband stood the long and severe journey of 90 miles, much better than I feared. Remember, they don't have vehicles. They were carriages and horse-drawn carriages. My husband stood the long and severe journey of 90 miles, much better than I feared, and seemed quite as well when we reached our old home at Brother Ruth's as when we left Battle Creek. We were kindly received by this dear family, and as tenderly cared for as Christian parents can care for invalid children. We found this church in a very low condition, with a large portion of its members the seeds of disunion and dissatisfaction with one another were taking deep root, and a worldly spirit was taking possession of them. And notwithstanding their low state, they had enjoyed the labors of our preachers so seldom they were hungry for spiritual food. Here commenced our first effective labors since the sickness of my husband. Here he commenced to labor as he used to, though in much weakness. He could speak 30 or 40 minutes in the forenoon of the Sabbath, and on first day, that Sunday, I filled up the rest of the time and then spoke in the afternoon of each day, about an hour and a half each time. We were listened to with the greatest attention. I saw that my husband was growing stronger, clearer, and more connected in his subjects. And when on one occasion he spoke 1 hour with clearness and power, with the burden of the work upon him as he used to speak, my feelings of gratitude were beyond expression. I arose in the congregation and for nearly half an hour tried with weeping to give utterance to them. The congregation felt deeply and felt assured that this was the dawn of better days for us. We remained with these people 6 weeks. I spoke to them 25 times, and my husband spoke 12 times. As our labors with this church progressed, individual cases began to open before me, and I commenced to write out testimonies for them, amounting in all to 100 pages. Then commenced labor for those persons as they came to Brother Roots, where we were stopping, and with some of them at their homes, but more especially in meetings at the house of worship. In this kind of labor, I found that my husband was of the greatest help. His long experience in this kind of work, laboring with me in the past, had qualified him for it. And now that he entered upon it again, he seemed to manifest all that clearness of thought, good judgment, and faithfulness, and dealing with the erring of former days. In fact, no other two of our ministers could have rendered me the assistance that he did. We will read the next account on page 5 the next time, because the Sabbath's about to come here and I have my meeting. May God our Father get to bless you, and His Son be gracious to you now in